Lite, Strata. Now, Lite for me was a band that I got into in 2008. Right after Battles came out with Mirrored, I got really into this idea of math rock. And so Lite was one of the first bands that showed up on my table along with Toe and a couple other bands. And they really helped me to define in my mind what math rock is. And I was a really big fan of their early albums, Filmlets and Fantasia, and even saw them play a good set at South by Southwest around that time. Small thing, I was like standing like 5 feet from them. Amazing, amazing show. These guys have chops galore, and in their early days, they really played with a lot of aggression and almost a punk rock attitude, but they were so technical and so musical. I mean, there's some songs from that era that was like my fight song for those times. So I followed Lite for quite a while after that. And what I found was over time, they started kind of moving away from that kind of more aggressive dual guitar approach and started branching off into more sequencing and synthesizers and stuff. And although I thought that stuff was great, I kind of lost interest in it because it didn't quite have the same aggression and conviction that those early albums did. But it's been a while, and I wanted to check out this new album, Strata, that came out. And in some ways, it's even a further digression, but it's almost one that's so far removed, I think, from the original intent that I heard from Lite that it's hard for me to even like look at it in the same way. It's hard for me to compare it because it does follow that little bit softer path that you saw Lite taking. They've been taking for several years towards something a little bit more jazz fusion, or maybe even in some ways new age style. It doesn't really have that same angular aggression of their early albums. I mean, I have to let go of that. I think they're done with that particular sound, but they still have that really super technical nature, and they do have a really good sense of melodicism and interplay in their music, and I think those things are really super interesting. One of the things that Lite does on this album that's really way different from what they were doing before is that there are vocals on this. In the past, my perception of Lite has always been as an instrumental outfit, and this album has several songs on it that have vocals on them. Now, generally speaking, math rock isn't known for its great vocals, and you'll see that to a degree here. They're a little bit sort of monotone and not super melodic. It kind of gives you the sense of like, the proto math rock band Slint. It kind of gives you the sense of that kind of mumbled, almost like spoken word, using Lite's textures as a backdrop.